up to date with what we've been doing.
Hey,
And
Joe, can we just record?
yeah, we have been for 30 minutes. Everything I've said has been recorded.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I've said some
You
things.
said some
So,
things.
hello and welcome to Nerdentials.
Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials, covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joe Tweeton, and tonight marks a continuation of one of my favorite hosts in the whole world that continuously mocks me or pantomimes my intro every single time, and it's really just because he's bored and has been gone so long. Oi! I'll introduce him last. You can hear his cackling in the background. I may mute it, I may not. If he tries to step against me right now, you can guarantee those will be in episode 100 outtakes. That being said, I've got plenty of outtakes for that. Let's move on. Anyway, guys, welcome to episode 99. Nerdentials episode 99. It has been a long time coming. We've been at it for 4 years. Had we been weekly, we would have doubled that, but it's kind of been a ongoing joke. We're sort of every week, every other week. It's been an ongoing joke if you've been with us from the beginning. But that being said, welcome to episode 99. Joining me tonight are some old faces, some trusted, loving faces, and some new faces. I make it sound like there's more than one, but really, let's get to it. Guys, joining me tonight right now, one of my most present cohorts. No, you're not getting gold stars, Nicholas. I'm just saying. You've been presently most present. We have the Nick Thomas. How are you, sir?
Present?
Yeah, for 99.
I'm present and accounted for. And I just got to say, we got 99 episodes and 99 problems, and a schedule definitely is one.
Amen. Well put. I'm going to put a laugh track right there. A nice old-fashioned sitcom laugh track right there. That was well deserved. On the other side of this panel tonight, we have our most freshest face, our newest reoccurring host. I give you the Ryan Kuhn. How goes it?
It is going splendid, my friend. Very splendid indeed.
And welcome back, dude.
Glad to be back.
Last episode was fun, and I expect more fun to continue.
Of course. Of course.
So, although jabs were thrown at the beginning, and no offense, Nick, but you have to understand the circumstances. This is a very beloved, long-running host.
He's a ginger. He can take it.
I know he can. He's got no soul. It's fine. He can absolutely take it.
He has one.
No, you
it's
can.
Just been stolen,
bro. You can absolutely take it. You were there from the beginning. You founded this whole freaking idea known as Nerdentials. You've been...
Well, back then it was Nerd News and Bruce.
Thanks for the reference, Nick. Now I gotta play a stupid clip, courtesy of your editor. There it is. There it is. Yeah, there, I played it for you guys. Yeah, classic times. There's going to be more of that in the next episode, so stick around, guys. But this is only 99. But it's what do you call it? The penultimate. This is the penultimate episode to a season finale. You get the drive to the finale. Game of Thrones succeeded on 6, maybe arguably 7 of those occasions. We're not going to talk about the rest. We're not them. We're not failed HBO experiments. We are indie. we are on the cusp of something new and exciting that you new listeners and viewers haven't seen yet. So, all that build up to say, I need to welcome back my number one bearded ginger across all the lands, and literally the only one I know. So by default, dude, you hit number one for me.
Is the Lord of the Gingers.
One of my best friends, Matthew Johnson, has returned. Welcome back, Matthew.
What's going on, guys? It's been too long.
Too long, and I will cut in a nice round of applause there. Make you feel good while you rewatch this.
Make me cry.
No, don't cry.
No.
True nostalgia's happening next episode. I cannot promise a specific week because that has been a long project and edit process coming. I have to wait for every one of the people I want involved to be available at the same time, and that itself is a challenge. And then you're going to have a nice full episode of outtakes, guys. Courtesy.
So prepare yourselves for it. We're going in dry.
Going in dry and wet. There will be a clip about that, Nick. You just wait. Wet and dry. Everything. All the puns, I am so excited for any new viewers, and I'm also excited for any fans that have been around since the beginning. Thank you for that, Nick. We will be.
That was Matt.
Oh, was it? You were so pantomimey with that. And Nick leaned forward. I thought it came out of him. That was weird. What I will say is,
the ginger's the one that has Elmo up his ass.
The voices, the ginger with the voices, and it's okay. He's easily possessed. He's soulless. Point proven. Thank you, Matthew. I'm kidding. Love you. Anyway, so guys, sorry about the long intro. Episode 100 is going to be a doozy, longer of an intro, so I hope you like what you're hearing now, because episode 100 is going to be nuts. I'm trying to promise our audience that there's going to be a nice, cute, nostalgic half hour of reconnecting with friends, and then an hour of outtakes for the last 4 years. But we all know that nostalgic reconnection is going to go way longer than my intended time frame. So
I was trying to talk them into a Nerdentials death match, but they didn't want to do it.
I'm down.
Okay, well, you heard it here first, guys.
He's ready. He's got a fork.
Put in the comments down below on what you hope to see in episode 100. I'm just letting you know right now, it might be a couple weeks out.
Hey,
we're getting back to Matthew, I know. We're getting back to the weekly for episodes, but this episode 100 might take a couple weeks longer than the weekly. I've got a lot of stuff to work on to finalize it, and we also have to make sure everyone shows up. So, that being said,
my thing would be
yes.
my input for like something that people would like to see is Drunken Halo and me making Joe cry.
I'd pay to see that.
The new host has spoken. We don't even need to hear about the audience and their feelings. But if they've been around with us since, anyone that has been around since the beginning, or anyone new that decided, hey, I really like these guys, I'm going to go back to the beginning and see what kind of craziness they were up to. I've done that, guys. I don't know about you. I'm sure you guys have done this before with podcasts or YouTube channels. I've fallen in love with some channels or podcasts to a point where I'm like, I want to see where they started. And I'll go back and I've watched some of their early starts, and when they do something like we're about to do, we're not big. We're a small channel right now, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next 5 years and to look back at what I just said and saying we're a small channel, because we are. I look back to that nostalgia, and that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I love doing it. I have fun doing it, and I can't wait, even 20 years from now, when we have fallen into the dust and none of this has made a single dime. Lovingly, I say, I don't care if we make it big or don't. I can't wait to look back at this Guys, episode 100 is going to be a doozy. Stick around. We're coming back in I'm giving you guys I'm going to tell everyone, give us a couple weeks. I know we said back to the weekly. Episode 100 needs a little extra TLC.
But we'll continue with Let's Plays and stuff until then, so you'll at least have some content.
The channel is going to be flooded with continuous gameplay. But the podcast...
I might even be able to talk another one of our hosts into starting to record a D&D game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey.
I still don't know how to play, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, you weren't invited. I'm joking.
Okay, now that things are getting saucy,
right,
let's jump in.
Matt
has disappeared, seemingly. So, you know what we're going to do?
I said I quit.
He died.
Oh,
I said I quit.
Matthew, you can't quit until it's actually time to quit.
Oh.
I didn't mean it, Matt.
Also, this is your comeback. Sit down for a minute. Guys, let's jump into Movie Matters. Guys, welcome to Movie Matters. It hasn't been that long, finally. For once, we can say that. Usually when we're doing these episodes, we're like, well, it's been a hot second since we talked about this. But honestly, very last episode with Paul Roman, we talked about Mank. Highly recommended film. Go check that out. That's on our channel. But we're going to open up Movie Matters today with a couple films, a couple recent releases. And due to the COVID-19 circumstances, for some of these, there were limited theater releases for some of the big ones. And there was a lot of on-demand access. We'll get to the Disney Plus and the HBO Max stuff in a minute, but we're going to touch on, Nick, where did Honest Thief come out on, and what's it about? That's what we're going to hit first. Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. Me and my wife watched Honest Thief. We found it on Vudu. It was one of those in theaters at home rentals, but we actually purchased it. We liked it. But yeah, Honest Thief is another Liam Neeson movie. It's what I come to expect from a Liam Neeson movie, without giving away anything away from it for people that want to watch it. It's a Liam Neeson movie.
No, wait, I want to ask one question.
They mess with the wrong people.
I want to ask one question, Nick. This is not in like an open discussion moment. I just had a quick question. Do you feel, in your personal opinion, after watching this, and I know you've seen quite a few Liam Neeson films, do you feel he's typecasted as the B-lister of Tom Cruise?
No. He's not a
action
B-lister.
dad.
What Liam Neeson is he's the old dude action man, where he is the old badass. He is the old school break your legs badass of action right now.
Now, real quick, I want you to finish the review of this. I just wanted to insert this thought. I think a really cool topic, and leave a comment down below, guys, on this video if you think this is a great discussion point for our podcast in the future. But the difference between action thrillers, just like the current hottest thing that's action thriller, versus Hollywood trying to use the middle-aged actor that was at the top of his game at one point to continue with their franchise. The names go on. Tom Cruise, infinitely never aging. Harrison Ford, definitely going to die soon. I'm just throwing these out there randomly. Like the guy, no, sorry. Harrison Ford, I love him, but he looks old. John Travolta looks old. You name a dozen of these guys. I'm missing some names, I know, but these 50-plus-year-old action stars that were at the top of their game, does Liam Neeson feel like a guy that was coming out of that, or that he was bread and butter put into that? Because that's where I feel.
I feel like he's put into it.
I'm right there with you. He actually fits that role, because they don't play him as like this unbelievable badass that's like crazy out of shape. He plays an older dude. He reacts like an older dude.
Yeah, and what Ryan said, where he says he likes that. My other point was the fact that we've never seen him younger doing these kind of roles. He kind of was put himself into it at his current age. You know what I mean? Like he never started out young doing this stuff. He's kind of been a little bit more of a seasoned action star.
I gotta call bullshit on that. You've never seen Darkman, have you?
No, can you give me a second shot at it? Is there another?
Darkman is
no. I
is
mean,
a 19.
I meant, was there another? Is there one other film that's similar that you could throw at me as ammo for this?
Not that I can think of, actually. It's
Okay,
just Darkman.
that's fine. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrupt the review. I just felt there was a dynamic conversation to potentially have about middle-aged action heroes. Matthew, you're holding up your hand. You need to say something. Go for it, dude.
Darkman is great. Check it out.
Love it.
It's pretty good.
All right.
It's one of my
All of
favorite
them,
action
everyone
movies.
has seen it except me.
You do.
Ah.
You do.
Where do I find this movie? Do I have to pay
Right
for
here.
it? Is it available?
He's got my copy of it.
Oh, he has it himself. God
I've had
dang
it for so long.
Darkman was Sam Raimi wanted to do The Phantom.
Yeah.
No, he wanted to do Batman, didn't he? He wanted to do Batman. But Warner Brothers Studio refused to let him do it. So he's like, fine, you know what? F you guys. I'm going to make my own superhero movie. And he made Darkman.
And the sequels.
Yes.
Which I have here too.
It's the trilogy.
Hey.
Yeah.
I've had it for so fucking long.
I was like, where the hell did that go? But now I know. I let Kevin watch it, and then he was done with it, and you're like, hey, I want to watch it. I'm like, okay, here you go.
It's just been sitting in my movie shelf for years now.
Okay.
No.
So
Okay, like I was saying.
go on with the
Honestly.
review. I'm gonna have to.
Honestly. Yeah, it's a very, very Liam Neeson movie. But I don't want to spoil it for people, but it's not only got Liam Neeson in it, it's got a whole bunch of good actors that we all know and love. We got Liam Neeson, of course, from Star Wars and Wrath of Titans, and Taken. Everyone knows him from Taken. We also have Jai Courtney, most notably recently in Suicide Squad as Boomerang. We have Kate Walsh. Most people know her as an actress. We've actually reviewed a TV series from her, 13 Reasons Why. 13 Reasons. She was the mother in that one.
Mm-hmm.
She's also from shows like Grey's Anatomy and Private Practice. We also have the Robert Patrick, which people will remember as the
T-1000.
T-1000, yes. And the reason why I actually got onto this wasn't Liam Neeson. I saw that Jeffrey Donovan was in this. One of my favorite TV actors. He played in
Name sounds familiar.
yeah, he was the main actor from Burn List. Burn Notice.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, Jeffrey Donovan's Burn Notice, dude.
That's why. Okay.
He's also played bad guys here and there. He actually does a really good bad guy. But this is a very classic crime thriller action movie, where the synopsis, I won't be giving anything away from the synopsis. A bank robber meets the love of his life, who works at the front desk of a storage facility where he hid $7 million in stolen loot. The main actor, Liam Neeson, is a very prolific bank robber. Was for a long time until he meets the love of his life. Then he decides, you know what? I want to get this out from underneath me. I want to turn myself in, and so I don't have to hide anything from the girl of my dreams. So he goes to turn in all the money, and that's where the story goes sideways because of corruption. I'll leave it at that. You can kind of guess where it goes from there, but I would honestly say that the Rotten Tomatoes gave it a bad rating, but I do not listen to Rotten Tomatoes at all anymore. I am one of those people that love Liam Neeson movies. And if you like the type of movie that Liam Neeson's always in, like Taken and all that, you would love this movie. I give it a 7 out of 10. It was a great watch. I bought it. I loved it so much. And I watched it a few times already. But yeah, I'd say go ahead and get out there and give it a try.
So Nick, crazy dude, like totally on board with everything you said about it. Like I'm gonna have to check it out for sure. I'm a pretty good, decent Liam Neeson fan, and I love most of the action thrillers he gets in. So I will definitely take your recommendation on it for sure. Guys, let's move on to our next recent big film. There's a couple big films that we're going to talk about tonight that have come out, and because of circumstances, quarantine, COVID, all that crap, so many things have caused Hollywood to come to a standstill, and in some cases, try to make their money as best they could. Because quite a few of these films were already finished with production prior to March, April of 2020, which is about the time when a lot of the stay-at-home situations started happening. A lot of things closed down for us in 2020. And the biggest one that closed down, and the human side of me is like, well, come on. If restaurants can do, distancing seating, why can't theaters do it? And I think that's best saved for another conversation, but I would make one quick point that kind of makes a lot of sense to me. We're talking about Hollywood films, especially blockbuster ones, that expect to get 100 to 150 million in opening weekend. If you do social distancing seating for any of those films, you're not even going to hit a fraction of that kind of box office opening. It's just not possible. And so you're left with a couple choices. Limited release mixed with on-demand rent, pay this much to watch it at home. And the hype drops by half. The amount of people that are going to do it drops significantly. And ultimately, a lot of studios opted to just wait or push it out to 2021. Provided that this stupid pandemic dies down by this coming summer. Like, best case scenario, that's what a lot of people are saying is, we don't talk about politics or medical shit or religious shit. I'm just saying what we've heard. It sounds like, if we're all positive and cross our fingers, I think by this summer, things will, based on the hopeful side of things, this might be under control. A majority of our world hopefully will get back to some sort of norm. So this episode is not about a discussion of that. It's just laying out the facts of what we know is happening, and looking at these films that we're about to talk about with that context. I just wanted to throw that out there because I didn't want this to be a blank slate. Because in what decade have we ever reviewed something as anticipated as Wonder Woman 2 hitting in the summer of 2020, which did not happen, or the latest and greatest expected to be incredible Pixar film launching in theaters? None of that happened because it couldn't, based on our circumstances. So I just wanted to lay that context out. I think as much as can be said has been said regarding the context. So let's jump into these next two reviews. We've got Soul, which is a Pixar film slated for December 25th. Now, it might have come out sooner than that, had world circumstances been different. But based on how life is, it probably picked one of the best days you could put out a film on demand, at home, accessible to everyone that is hopefully spending time with their family. Christmas Day, especially here in America, and I don't know, parts of the world take this time as well as a time of to celebrate. But more importantly, Disney, Pixar, that's all here in America for the most part. So as far as how things are going here, this came out December 25th, Christmas Day. For me personally, I did the family thing earlier in the day. I did some family stuff the day before Christmas Eve. And this was kind of one of those nice, sweet surprises that, well, we knew it was coming and we're like, hold up. This is Disney Plus. Disney Plus, right before or right on the cusp of the pandemic, was trying to charge us $30 as a subscriber to the service. $30 to watch the premiere release of Mulan, the live action remake of Mulan. $30, even though you're a subscriber, we're trying to make our money back. Let's see how $30 per customer turns out. And it came, it went, it was brief, and then in December they finally released it for free. That's kind of a weird statement to say, but if you're a subscriber to anything, when you release bonus content, you look at it as free because you're already paying for the service. And we're all smirking and smiling about the reality of that, but the fact is, no, we're already paying $15 a month for Disney Plus. Those that are, that's what it is. And Disney was like trying to make up for the fact that they couldn't put it out in theaters. I get it. We're not reviewing that today. I have seen it. My hot take is it was good. Is it worth $30 at home? I don't know. Maybe not. My kids enjoyed it. That's my hot take. We're not reviewing that today. We're about to talk about Soul from Pixar. So the interesting thing about this is that Disney took a quick turn. Don't know what their numbers were because Disney doesn't divulge that publicly often. But I'm guessing, hard bet, Mulan did not do as well as expected, asking for the $30 upfront price to check it out. So, as a kind gesture, air quotes, heavy air quotes, standing view podcasters listening right now, they gave us Pixar's latest flick for free. And we say for free because if you're subscribed, it's a bonus new episode or movie. This movie's brand spanking new, never been in theaters, and because we subscribe to this service, we get to check it out. Woo! So, that's all the context and premise I wanted to give. I'm going to pass it around. I'll give you my hot take in a second to whoever has checked this out. I know, I think 3 of us have. Matt, you didn't get a chance to watch this, right?
No, I have.
Oh! Have all of us seen it?
I guess so.
All right, this is going to be the liveliest conversation we've had about a digital-only release ever. Holy, mark this on your calendars, Nerdentials historians. Anyway, joking aside, guys, I'm going to give you the premise, then I'm going to pass it around the table on our first impressions of a digital-first Pixar film. So, starting off, we've got Soul 2020. It's a PG film. It's an hour and 40 minutes. It's considered an adventure comedy. It came out on Christmas Day. It's directed by Pete Docter and Kent Powers. It was written by Pete Docter and Mike Jones and a couple others. And the leading roles are Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, and Graham Norton. Jamie Foxx, if you guys see the cover, that is the premier jazz-looking musician on the front cover.
His name's Joe.
Huh?
His name's also Joe.
Whose name is ironically Jim. And Tina Fey happens to be playing this quirky little soul off to the side. If you've seen, some covers show the soul, some covers show a cat. We'll get into that in a minute. But that's our premise. So, or well, that's who's involved at least. So, real quick, does anyone have the synopsis?
Joe is a middle school band teacher whose life hasn't quite gone the way he expected. His true passion is jazz, and he's good. But when he travels to another realm to help someone find their passion, he soon discovers what it means to have a soul.
So, that's the plot for this film. Nick, you read it. I'm gonna give you the choice. What's your overall impressions of the film? Spoiler free as best you can right now. What's your impressions?
Spoiler free. It was
All the
definitely
spoilers.
unique. It was definitely unique. It was kind of in the same vein as you ever watched the movie Inside Out.
Oh yeah.
Um, it was definitely an introspective look on what's important in life, and I thought it was kind of cool the way they did it. It was funny. It was, like I said, unique. The way they decided to portray it was definitely new, and I'd never seen it before, and I liked the way they did it. Yeah. Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey did really good in this. There was good chemistry between the two, vocally.
Sorry, I know I was kind of
I'm trying
vague.
not
I
to be
was looking for
spoiler.
like a hot take without. Yeah. So if you want to pass it on, we can and see how everyone else summarizes what they thought without spoiling too much. Ryan.
All right, I'll give you my hot take. I think the Soul was a fantastic movie for everything it aimed to do. I do think there were a couple parts of the movie that dragged on just a little too long, but overall, it was a very heartwarming movie that really touched on some things that I think not just children need to learn, but adults need to remember and what's important in life. That you can get lost in your tunnel vision and realize that there's so much more to life than just the one thing you're passionate about. So I would say the movie to me was a great movie. Like I said, there are some parts that dragged on just a bit. I won't give any spoilers, but it's a little earlier in the movie. And other than that, I would say I give it a 7 out of 10.
Oh snap! Really good take, dude. Matt, I want to pass it down to you real quick.
I concur. No.
When Matt's
No,
impressed with someone's take, that's what he does. I'm sorry.
I concur.
Go on, dude.
That was good. That was good. No, my take. I'm like right on the same page. Like, it's definitely a different take on the views of being focused on one thing when there's other things out there that you could be interested in or anything like that. And it takes a pretty good comedy turn, I think, with some of the other characters that pop in. I love the sign guy. That's like my favorite character in that freaking movie. But yeah, I would actually give it like a solid 8. There is a couple things that went a little too long, but at the same time, like there was a couple things that was too short, I think, at the same time. So, but yeah.
Right on, dude. Okay, so Nick, I know you didn't convey a rating. I'm gonna give you my hot take and rating, and I'll pass it back to you for a rating, and then we'll see where we're at time frame wise. My hot take on this thing is, I feel very similar to how all of you kind of expressed how it broke down. I like Jamie Foxx. There wasn't anything special or unique about his performance, but I still connected with his internal drive and passion to do something with his life that's meaningful. And I think that was, like, I get it. Like, half of us are getting really close to that middle age range, at least for everyone here on the podcast. We're slowly climbing towards that. And a lot of us are thinking we're reflecting and thinking about where we're at, what we're doing, and a lot of artists are very driven, and I love that backstory, like that we start getting out of the main character, Joe, where we're introduced to him as just a teacher that's teaching jazz, and in the first few moments we see in his classroom how he's connecting to that one student who is just kind of going off the cuff. He's like leading people in, and then she kind of does this little solo thing, and everyone looks at her weird, but then he kind of gets excited, and it's that spark. We see that spark in him that comes from someone who was driven by passion in his youth, missed a couple opportunities that didn't take him where he thought he'd go, which, good God, I think all of us have felt that moment at least a few different times. And it was just a really cool it's interesting because, like, all you guys, I know I'm not trying to get in deep with this. I'm being very reflective in how I'm talking about this review. But like Ryan pointed out, kid film, Nick, you guys both pointed out, like, the childlike perspective, the fact that, because that's what Pixar does best. It's a childlike film. We get it. We get into this film. Pixar knows how to touch the hearts of children, and that's kind of where most Pixar films take. But this one did a very interesting turn with the adult audience that I think I would consider was kind of unexpected, kind of timely for 2020, with where I think a lot of us adults eat, and not to, I know he's bad out for a second, but like, I know Ryan doesn't have kids and he's a bit young, but like, no exception to that rule. Regardless, at our age, we're like wondering what we're doing with ourselves. Oh, and see, there we go. Ryan's got a kid. Her name's Luna. She's an orange tabby. Very special. Just wanted to throw that out there, dude. I'm not cutting that out because
she's white.
Yeah, I was gonna say the cat's white. Oh, how's that an orange tabby?
No. There's a lot of orange on her. She's very creamy. It's the lighting he has. Let's not get confused right now. Let's continue back with what I'm saying. So Pixar took a unique direction with their storytelling. They made it childlike in innocence, taking the lost soul, number 22, that we learn about very early in this plot. And then we've got the big character, the adult, Joe, who seemingly died before his emotional time. Like, he wasn't ready to die. He's like, no, I'm in the middle of trying to accomplish something. I'm too young to die. And then we have this character who's like, I'm not ready to start a life. I've been here for eternity. I'm happy where I'm at. I don't care to be involved with everything that you're... And there's this interesting relationship in this show that happens with an aged youth and an aged someone who has forgotten his youth, who's forgotten meaning and purpose. There's a really cool connection here that I think applies really beautifully to adults and adults with kids, and that applies to, like, with kids, that I think attaches itself to kids really well. So my mumblings right now seem very philosophical and weird and all over the place, so I'll try to make it more concise here.
That's normal.
I know.
Yeah.
I think
Pixar... You watched your older videos.
You just like to hear yourself talk. It's okay. We just let it happen.
God dang it! Stop it! Stop
Roast
it!
time.
Stop it! We'll have so many emotional moments in the future. Stop it! Not right now. I love you, Matthew, and I love you, New Face Ryan. I'm gonna appreciate your presence. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, Nick, I love you too. You were not out of that. I just had. Yeah, Soul was really a very different direction for Pixar to take. And I'm like happy. I think Pixar really swung it out of the park for really touching a very wide audience in age range. I think they hit the parents really well emotionally, as much as I think they hopefully made some good connections with the kids about the meaning of life. And like, some of us have a specific feeling about the meaning of life, but this one was very candidly family friendly. I want to say that. My rating, guys, for Soul in this, it's weird. People rate films not just on emotion, but sometimes contextually on the environment and time and place that they saw it. I would like to not do that. I'd like to think that I could rate it purely on its physical merits, and so I'm going to try my best to do that. But also, Soul is a little topical with people that are deep searching into the recesses of their minds about the reality of life as it is. But regardless of all that, story structure, animation, Pixar classic humor, all that shit throws me into giving it an 8. 8.5. I'm going to give it 8.5. I deeply enjoyed it. Not the best shit they've ever done, but it's up there. And circumstantially, having not come out in theaters, props to Disney and Pixar for pulling off a masterpiece that never made it to theaters. I'm sad for them on that front, but it's still an 8.5.
Yeah.
It's still highly recommended. Nick, I want to pass it back to you because you never gave us a rating. What are your thoughts after hearing everyone?
Being a musician, myself, just like you, Joe, I'm not a great musician, but I feel myself as a musician. There's parts in the movie where he does that jazzing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they say it as their spark, and when they kind of leave their body and they're just in the music.
I loved that depiction.
I've
that was
felt
cool.
that before. It's been a long time since I felt that on the stage or playing music at all, but this movie hit close, just like we don't try our hardest to find those moments. And it doesn't have to just be with music. It has to be with everything.
Yeah, I would agree.
It pointed out that there's more important things than just trying to reach your end goal and what you want to do in your career or what you want to do on anything else. You got to enjoy life the way it is. And because it was able to hit that home so well, it was a powerful message. I would definitely put this almost a 9. 9 out of 10.
Word.
I would actually like to bump up mine a bit. I'm not going to go an 8 or a 9 just because I do think there are some flaws to it, but I did love the movie. But I was thinking back to it, a couple scenes that just really spoke to me, and I'm going to give it a 7.5, not just a 7, which is a really high rating for me because it is very rare anything gets higher than an 8. As far as movies go, shows are different. I categorize them very differently. But as far as movies go, I would give this a 7.5, even almost an 8.
And that's fair because you're also rating it based on how much it hit you personally.
Yeah, like there's some parts that like really spoke to me, especially the one-track mindedness. I get lost in that a lot and forget that there's a lot more to life than just my little fringe interests and things I obsess over. Like, there's just so much more beauty to life than I experience alone, you know?
Yeah. And like, there was a lot of conversation that could be stirred out of this film. There was a lot of really cool, deep things to be discussed. And so I would like to leave our audience with that. Leave a comment down below. It doesn't matter. We're such a small channel, and even if we were a huge channel, I want to hear your guys' voices. I don't care how little, how few, how many comments are left about that, but like, if this topic strikes you, I want to hear your perspective, because I feel like we could easily do a separate episode about that specific topic, just about life, the focus of life, and how that film hit us. It's a little crazy to say that, but like, we're Nerdentials, Nerdy Essentials, guys. If you're a nerd about philosophy, film, or emotions, and you've got a perspective you want to share, leave it in the comments, and I promise we will absolutely look it over and talk about it. Matthew, stop your ginger bearded negativity. God.
It'll never happen.
Oh, God.
Wouldn't be us without you doing that. Guys, that's going to wrap up Pixar's Soul. Let's get the last topic for movie matters, for film reviews. Ooh. It's not going to be a deep discussion. All of us have not been able to view it. It's kind of a very unique circumstance, honestly, and it's all in part due to the corona. Don't worry, bleeps will ensue. Yeah.
Rona.
The Rona. It really, all of this comes down to the Rona. It's a very unique review because
I like my Rona with, lime and hot sauce.
same here.
Wait. Oh, we're not talking. Never mind.
Nope,
Sorry. I thought we were
nope,
talking about the beer.
nope. Not the kind that infects you. That's different. Anyway, so guys, our final film review for today's episode is going to be Wonder Woman 1984. Now, the thing about this particular Wonder Woman sequel is that prior to the pandemic, this was going to be a summer release. In fact, it even got pushed back nearly a full year from the time of its original post-production finish, which was the end of 2019. They were going to release it winter 2019, way before any of this crap happened, this pandemic. But out of concern, because Warner Brothers is often concerned about their franchise because they don't quite have the same lid on it like Marvel. Sorry, I just have certain feelings about them and their differences. But they were going to push it back to summer 2020 because, here's the kicker, the first Wonder Woman did so gosh darn well when it came out in summer that they're like, the studio wanted to repeat that success. So, today's review is going to be an honest, uncompromised, and spoiler-free review. This is we're in different times right now, guys. This is just, I don't know what happened at the studio level, so I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to give you my raw feelings, and so is Nick, because we're the two guys that actually were able to watch the whole film, and we're going to talk about it to the best of our abilities. Like Disney Plus and releasing Soul for Pixar on December, I do recall seeing this finally available on Christmas Day while scrolling through HBO Max. They said it had a limited release in theaters, like special IMAX, limited theater locations. I don't know where all it was available, but it was limited, and the seating was limited. Obviously, because of the trying times we're all in. That being said, it was, however, available to everyone right now until the end of January. The last day of January, they decided we're going to try and see how much traffic, how much goodwill we can get by releasing this anticipated Warner Brothers sequel, Wonder Woman, on HBO Max for a 31-day limited streaming time to anyone paying for HBO Max. HBO Max, for anyone curious, is roughly $15 a month. So, like Netflix, Hulu, anything, or Disney Plus, anyone else releasing a movie that's
It's
new,
cable with extra steps.
new and for free. What? What? Right?
It's cable with extra steps.
Yeah, if you pay for all those.
Yeah,
if you pay for all of them.
The point is, if you already have the service, cool.
Give it to a friend as well.
Or a friend with a sign-in. Either way, HBO Max currently is offering this for viewing. So me and Nick have had the chance to view it. It's PG-13, runtime roughly 2.5 hours. Directed by our returning wonderful Patty Jenkins as the director who directed the first one. We have story credits including Jeff Johns and Patty Jenkins working on the script. And we have stars Gal Gadot, aka Wonder Woman, Chris Pine, what? Returning man from the dead who sacrificed himself at the end. That should be an interesting conversation. The love interest, basically. Kristen Wiig, famously known for her SNL skits and comedy films, is trying to portray the nemesis of Wonder Woman in this film. And, I'd like to point out one more cast that I was deeply fascinated by and appreciated his I'm not good with literature. We'll just say his integrity in acting. I enjoyed Pedro Pascal coming in as kind of a secondary antagonist to the plot. Anyone who knows Pedro Pascal can remember him working in Game of Thrones and more recently The Mandalorian. That's right, guys. The Mandalorian himself, Disney Plus service, is Pedro Pascal. If you didn't know that before, we've talked about it before. Anyway, those are kind of the four key main characters in this film. We have a few nods to some other really good actors that we'll mention as we move forward in this review. So, my hot take. I'll try to be brief, Nick, because I want to get your hot take. I don't want to make this a 3-hour podcast. I'm sure the other guys wouldn't care, but no, they do. They would. Anyway, I'm kidding. I'll cut that. Whatever. I'm just mumbling now.
I'll just hang up. I'd be like, peace.
Okay, now I gotta keep it in because your quip was funny. Anytime you make a funny quip, Matt, I can't cut out the extra fat. That's not a jab against you and your weight.
Why are you calling me fat?
The content, the fat of the content. I'm not talking about you.
You just give it to me. That was gonna.
Matthew, that's, you know what?
Just give it to him, Joe.
That's
Just give it to him.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ping pong ball and all.
Thank you for the finality of that statement. That, I dare say, might make it to the very end of episode 100, so stick around, guys. Stick around. Hot takes. Me and Nick are going to have a hot take, and then we'll see where it goes. Hot take on it. It is so fresh in my mind. Prior to this recording, I had finished the 2.5-hour film literally an hour before we started recording this episode. The first thing I want to say is the overall feeling. felt evenly paced to start off with. The only reason you're going to hear pauses out of me, guys, is because I literally just absorbed this film an hour ago prior to this recording. That being said, I'm going to say this is not necessarily what I thought or expected I would get out of a sequel. As both a fan of the comic books and knowing a lot of the history of this character based on the comic books, and also seeing how Warner Brothers has chosen to unfold and continue pushing forward with the film side of this lore, I would say I had fun watching the film. I'd say I've always said this, and all the guys on our crew here at Nerdentials know I'm one of the easiest to please members when it comes to films, in that I'm entertained by, and Matt's nodding in concurrence with that I'm one of the few that's easy to please, even with sometimes really simple plots in movies. But Matt, do you need a breath? You look like you're holding back really hard. You good?
Good.
I'll say that
Very nice.
the film started off as something I questioned a lot. I wasn't sure. I'm like, I've heard negative crap about this. I have not looked at anyone's review. I know people are giving it a split feeling. There's a lot of people saying negative things, and I went into it not knowing anything about how specifically anyone felt. So for me, I was like, that kind of put me on edge. I'm like, I'm starting to question everything I'm watching. Is this cheesy? Is it stupid? Is it not? But about halfway, here's the turning point for me. About halfway, I was like, I stopped caring about that. Like where the story and movie was going, I lost track of caring about whether people had a negative thought about it or not, because at the halfway point, I just kind of got lost in it. And my easygoing self, that's what I like to promote with my gameplays, with my walkthroughs and game videos, reviews. I pride myself on the idea of getting lost in the childlike enjoyment of whatever's coming out. I know that can come down on me negatively as trying to be sort of a critic on things, but I don't give a shit about whether you look at my review or score as something that should be based on professionalism. Quite frankly, I think the heart of Nerdentials here is to give you the deets on what's going on and to understand the passionate love of whatever that deet is. And for that reason alone, I got choked up in the last third of the film. I kind of wanted to hear Nick's perspective first because he has so much comic book background that I knew he was going to give me some of that. And I'm going to give it over to Nick here in a second. I'm pretty much done here, but I wanted to say that I love and appreciate Nick's background and knowledge on these things and how he feels about them based on that background. But the biggest thing I pride myself in the Nerdentials perspective is we like to talk about the things we're passionate about, and even if it's not perfect, if it's still something we passionately are in love with, we're going to tell you why at least. And you're welcome to disagree with it. So this movie, unfortunately, is very divisive right now online. I know it is. And I don't even know what those opinions are. I haven't read a single one. All I know is that I got teared up at the end 2, almost 3 different times in the last half hour. And I know it's not a perfect film. artistically or writing wise, I know it's not perfect. But because it pulled me into a place that made me feel, that's where my rating is going to come for this, Nick. And I'm putting it at an 8.5. I have to stick with 8.5. I can't look like a complete idiot or unprofessional in its criticisms. There are things that are wrong with it, but because it made me feel, it's almost a 9 out of 10. And I know the feelings other people are conveying. So because it made me feel, I'm going to stick to my guns and say it's a 9, even if yours is dramatically different. Mine's a 9. I wanted you to go first because I didn't want to sway your vote, so ignore mine and just give me your raw hot take on it and rating.
All right. I'm actually going to switch it up on you in a bit.
Ooh! I'm excited, Nick. Go for it.
I'm going to give you my rating first.
Oh!
And then I'm going to explain why.
Oh, here we go.
Solid 10.
No! Okay.
Wonder Woman 84
okay, sorry.
was better than the first one. Now, a lot of people gave this crap, and the critics in the reviews all said negative things about it. And I went into it thinking, okay, I can't listen to their reviews. I have to go at this thinking, okay, this is a movie, and I got to see how they plan on doing it. Because I often let my own prejudice of comic books to movie translations get in the way.
Yeah.
So I went into it thinking, okay, Patty Jenkins didn't fail us the first time. Let's see what she does. Now, the reason why I say this is a solid 10, and I felt it was better than the first one, is because I like when they bring you the heart and humanity of your superheroes.
Oh my
That's
God.
important to me.
Yes.
A lot of people bagged on Iron Man 3. He was like, there's not enough action. There's not enough explosions. This isn't even Michael Bay materials type stuff. No. You were getting to the heart of why he does what he does. And in Wonder Woman 84, that's exactly what they did here. Yes, you had a few fights here, a few fights there. But the majority of it was letting you know who Diana Prince was. Not who Wonder Woman was.
Oh, yes. It was.
And the reason why it is so important for what she does. Did I blow your mind going that route?
Kind of. Slightly.
Okay.
Not. I'm always so open to what your reactions are, but like I am happily surprised about the direction you went in.
A lot of people looked at this and said, oh, this isn't anything like the comics. I don't know why this. Bullshit. The critics can take it and shove it up their tight freaking diamond-forming assholes.
Whoa.
Okay?
A lot of pressure.
Yes.
Diamond-forming assholes. Go on.
I'm a firm believer that Patty Jenkins was a brilliant mastermind when she had this put together. The writers that helped her with this and everything that happened with this, it instilled a sense of awe. There's a few scenes that you're just like, you're seeing the awe in the character's face, the actors' faces. And for them to pull that off, along with her vision of what this was supposed to be, it made it magical. You actually see it in the previews when they're flying through the explosion of fireworks.
Was that in trailers?
It was.
Oh, that's such a cool scene.
But that whole scene, the way that came together is even more beautiful. What?
Sorry, Matt did a meme. Do you need to say something, Matt, or no?
You need to text me your info so I can watch this dang movie now.
Yeah.
Because like I want, because when he says something like that, then obviously there's something to this film.
Well,
Yeah,
there is.
Nick
There
gives
is.
that kind of recommendation. I definitely have to see it because Nick is very critical.
And here's
comics.
the thing. If you're going into it thinking, oh, why isn't this like the Wonder Woman we watched before? It's not meant to be. It's going to be fanciful. It's going to be different. Because, not trying to give anything away, but anytime you put in other Olympian gods, especially the Duke of Deception, things get crazy.
Okay, that was like sort of it's a spoiler, but it's a very well placed. No, it's very well placed.
Unless you are a devout follower of DC Comics, you have no idea who the Duke of Deception is.
I know, but speaking to a couple other nerds here at the table, for them who haven't seen it yet, I'm saying it's at least a window into what you mean, even if they're not sure what you're referencing. That's all.
No idea who he is.
That's fine. Yeah.
And you're right. It wasn't just Gal Gadot that did an awesome job in here. Chris Pine did an awesome job in here. That whole sense of wonder that I'm telling you about, he led to a lot of that, which was awesome.
Okay, without spoiling anything, I want to bounce back real quick because we're not having an open discussion here because there's just too much at risk. We need our other crew to watch this, and I know I gave it a 9, and I'll give you a couple reasons why, but like I am so happy and like actually excited that you gave it a 10 because I know you're such a hardcore critic. Like Ryan said, when it comes to your comic book background, and even Matt knows that, which is why both of them are like, help us find access. We got to see what you're talking about. But to add to that, the thing I wanted to point out, Chris Pine. Okay, that's where I'm at. I'm coming back to it. You said Chris Pine. The biggest concern I had going into this film that I think our fellow nerds here and even outside audiences felt after spoiler warning. I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to skip ahead if you don't want to hear this. 3, 2, 1.
Can I skip ahead?
You can. Oh, real quick. I'll edit this part out, but have both of you seen the first one?
Yes.
Okay. I knew Matt had. I wasn't sure about you, Ryan. Okay, so we know Chris Pine, Stephen Trevor, a person that Wonder Woman grew very close to very quickly as far as the movies are concerned, and what most people thought was it's a romance, love of her life kind of thing, and then he goes ahead and sacrifices himself, flies up into the sky, and dies. When people watch the trailers for Wonder Woman 2, 1984, and we see him, Chris Pine, coming back, being goofy, silly, reconnecting, everyone's concern was, oh no. You know, the screenplay, the Bechdel test, every film and show goes under this thing called the Bechdel test where they're like, okay, can we have a leading woman or at least 2 female characters in a movie or show have an entire scene together where they connect deeply but don't talk about a man? Like, specifically referencing a lead role. It's all about feminism, and can we have a decent female scene with another female and not have to involve a man in it? So that was the biggest concern, and when people saw Chris Pine in the trailer, the concern was, oh no, f***ing wait. Patty Jenkins, our woman feminist who's directing this incredible first film, is she really bringing back the love of her life just to get people in theater seats? Are we bringing Chris Pine back in because Gal Gadot isn't good enough as Wonder Woman on her own? Like, that was a huge, huge concern for fans. Right, Matt? Like, do you get that feeling, or did you ever know that seeing those trailers or hear about that?
I was wondering personally, but
when I saw the trailers, my mind just kind of went to like, why is he back? What the F is going to happen to where he comes back? Because where we left off last time, folks, he blew up in a plane.
No, so, okay, and this isn't spoiler territory. I'm not going to divulge anything about it, but, like, that leads, would that you, with a critical fan eye, be like, are they going to do this in a way that makes sense that I'm not going to be pissed off? Like, why would you bring back a love of her life cheesily in some stupid way? Right?
Well, it kind of goes, you know, when I first saw that, it kind of made me think of, like, soap operas in a way, for some odd reason.
Weird.
Like, it was going to be like his twin brother that was a doctor or something.
Okay, but
You know.
you were thinking something weird and nerdy, but I'm here to tell you,
Right.
Matthew, the casual audience, at least the critical casual audience online, the trolls, were like, "Are you seriously? You're bringing back Chris Pine because she needs him. She needs him to be a cool character. Like they need to have that connection. You need to bring back the romance to have a sequel. He killed himself off through sacrifice. Are you really going to?" The biggest concern for nerds was, wait, you're bringing him back, so does that diminish the sacrifice he made? Because it was such an emotional ending. Are you going to ruin that emotional ending by bringing him back? That was the biggest criticism. Are you going to ruin Wonder Woman 1 by bringing a character back that shouldn't be back?
But you gotta think though, like
I know, Nick. I know. I'm on board with you, Nick. I just want to hear Matt's thought process.
so do we remember like my hot take of Star Wars back in the day?
Oh God, your fake one or your real one?
No, my fake one.
I still
Oh,
hate you for it. My heart is
So-
never forgiven you.
your heart wasn't the one we were with, Nick. It was a host that's not with us anymore.
Well, it was
Oh
him,
no,
too.
no, sorry. He was kind of. We were with you, Nick.
No, you all were in on it except for me.
You.
Oh, we were totally
And
screwed
here's
with
here's
Nick.
the thing.
Oh,
We actually have someone in the call right now that didn't like that Star Wars movie.
Which movie?
we're saving it for another time. That's
Jedi
not
Returns. I mean,
That
Jedi.
The
movie.
Last
yeah.
Jedi, and
Last Jedi.
That's fine,
That movie.
Ryan. I don't hate you for
He-
saying
he's
that. I
one.
don't
He's
care.
one of the people that think the new trilogy should not exist.
I didn't say that. I would never say that it shouldn't exist.
He just said he
I just
hated
think it
the
should be
last
different.
one, and that's fine. We're not here to talk about that.
Anyways,
That's
no,
all right.
anyways,
Let's
not
what I'm-
dissolve
what I'm getting
this
to,
ep-
what I'm getting to though,
Matt's.
is people are going to say crap just so they can get some clout, regardless if they mean what they say or they don't mean what they say.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, more than don't mean what they say, because obviously, I was lying about Star Wars,
Now,
and
Right.
it got him pissed off, super pissed off.
It got Nick
I like
pissed
doing
off.
that.
Nick was pissed off because we were with Nick so hard. I'll share the episode with you, Ryan. You should watch at least a quarter
I'd
of
love to
that.
watch Nick get pissed off.
A quarter of
I
that
don't
episode.
know
It
if I
was
review.
funny. It was fun at your expense, Nick, and future fans will agree.
now going into this movie, back to the review.
Yep,
that I
yep,
had
yep.
interrupted me.
Back to it.
Um,
Sorry, didn't mean to throw you for a loop there.
no, there are things in here that people are saying, "Oh, Wonder Woman can't do that." If you think that you've never read the freaking comics, you don't know the limits to her powers, which are few and far between.
None
They
of that
they
was,
go in they
yeah.
go in and touch on powers and things that people have been wondering about. Why she can't do this? Why she can't do that? Why is this in the comic books but not here? They throw in little Easter eggs for you. I'm not going to mention the funniest one.
Oh, we need to talk later, Nick, and wait till these guys watch it.
She'll eventually find it.
Yeah.
The crap are you? What?
Don't worry about it. But no, they touch on these different powers and stuff that Wonder Woman has had in the comic books,
Yeah.
and they were showing the development of it. So not only were they showing her character development as Diana Prince and the reason why she does stuff, they were showing her power development and where she got the ability to do all these different things.
Yeah.
They actually touched on the whole thing where how the hell is Steve and Trevor here? That is explained, and that is very true to the comic books.
Wait,
about
also-
what happens.
Well, okay, quick, Nick. We'll have to talk off air because here's the thing. My hot take on what you just said is you say it's comic canon. Great, that's awesome. But I, as one of the few hosts here who have the amount of comic canon knowledge as others, mine is very minimal. And so for you to say it's explained, cool. But I wasn't upset about how they portrayed it in the film, meaning I accepted how they did it. I
Yeah.
accepted how they did it in the film from someone who has no idea that was even a thing in the comics. And you're here to tell all the hardcore nerds it's comic canon. So there's two fronts here, casual audience and comic canon, that say there's a good reason for how this works. That's all I wanted to throw out there. Go on.
And honestly, one of the most compelling characters of this whole movie. And like you said, the last quarter of the movie kind of sunk in. It wasn't Wonder Woman. It wasn't Stephen Trevor. It wasn't all that.
Oh.
It was Pedro Pascal's portrayal there. Just that descent into where he went. And then the sudden realization at the end.
So I just want to share this one thing. If we didn't lure either of our co-hosts into watching this, the last thing I'm saying is that descent. Yeah, no, the biggest tears I felt that I shed was due to his ending scene. Pedro Pascal's character ending drew me to tears almost a little more than Wonder Woman's ending for this film. I'm just being super vague, no specifics. But that character versus this, Pedro Pascal brought me to tears personally, and Wonder Woman sealed the film when it comes to the emotion part. Yeah. So just a little teaser for anyone that hasn't seen it yet.
Now, the one thing I did have an issue with, but it was small to me, and I was able to let it go because the rest of the movie was so good to me, was Cheetah. I liked the character's portrayal of Cheetah, but her coming to her powers, that is not at all how she got her powers in the comic books.
I didn't think it was, and I have no history with the comics. Arch nemesis to Wonder Woman, Kristen Wiig, comedian, SNL actress who played Wonder Woman's arch nemesis, Cheetah. I thought we were going to see her transformation a lot sooner than we did, but even post that, I totally accepted how it played out.
Now, for those who don't know,
Right.
in the actual comic book lore, how Cheetah got her powers is she finds a dagger from it was a lost dagger of the Amazonians, and she accidentally cuts herself, forces her to be possessed by the goddess of hunt, and that's what transforms her into Cheetah. She's actually physically possessed by the goddess of the hunt. But they didn't go that route, and they didn't for a reason, and I understood why. Yes, there's more drama and sentimental stuff going on in the movie. There's a lot more heart to it, but if that's going to stop you from enjoying it, you need to think about why you're watching movies. It's not just for explosions. Not everything can be a Michael Bay explosion-gasm.
Yeah, I leave that alone because she was it's not like a continuation. Like, are we gonna see different versions of her? Is she gonna come back? Like, that's not the important part. That's not even the focus of this sequel, right? So,
I just wish people could enjoy this for what it was.
I know.
You didn't even see what I did there. It was
Nick, your official rating was
straight 10.
10.
10 out of 10.
Man, it's really. Oh, man. Upon a second viewing, my number might adjust a little differently. And just after hearing you, even spoiler free, unfurl your feelings on the concept. Matt, I want to give you a second. What? Were you going to say something?
I was gonna say, don't let his review make it
No,
different.
I get what you're
for
saying.
you.
I know you're backing up the professional side of how we rate
Yes.
things. I get that. No, it warms my heart to hear a comic book aficionado view this in such a strong light and appreciate how it was tackled. Um, yeah, I guess my only critiques were just I think that I don't know, there was some cheesiness to the early aspects of the film, some of the plot, some of the lines, and I know they were going for an 80s theme complete, like I get it. So
No, they purposely were trying to do a callback to the 1980s. What's her name? Linda Carter, Wonder Woman.
okay.
They were doing it on purpose. So there was campiness on purpose.
I know, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, I'm gonna stick to my guns. We'll talk off air about personal reasons, but Matt brought up a point. I gave it a rating. It wasn't a masterpiece, but there was no reason you should not watch this. I gave it a 9 out of 10. You gave it a 10 out of 10. Dude, in my books, Nerdentials gave it a 9.5. Until we hear what Ryan and Matt give it later down the road.
Just a 0. Just a 0.
You know what I'm saying? It's a 9.5. Might as well be a 10. And I'm also
just because of Gal Gadot.
If you rate
hey
Matthew, that's me. Like I would give it a 10 because of her and Amy.
Yeah, that's a 10 for me. Just her alone and Pedro Pascal. He's gorgeous too.
Whoa. Let's stop muddying up the waters here, guys. Nick was very firm on his 10. And I give that all to him. And if I was going to choose someone to write a review on our website, which y'all can go to blah, blah, blah. I'm kidding. We'll shout that out later. Nick, I will give you the reins on the rating. You give Nerdentials website a 10 out of 10. That's your rating. You're the reviewer, dude. I give it all to you because you got the most background, the knowledge, and I agree with your rating, too.
I personally think from now on when we do a rating, because there's multiple people, I think we should be able to give the review, and then we should have a rating from each of our hosts, for the sheer fact that when people say it, it's just not completely biased.
Yeah. No, true. And that's why I said 9.5, because there's only two ratings here. And so the average would put it at a 9.5 until we get more ratings out of it. It's going to stay at a 9.5, and that's fine. If Matt and Ryan give it a 6, we're going to have to put it back down to an 8. I'm kidding. Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Here's the thing. Even with me giving it such a high review, that doesn't mean they're going to give it that high review.
No, exactly. Exactly.
I understood it for what it was, but some people might not get that.
No, and you personally felt it deserved a 10
because they're dense. I'm joking.
Whoa, we got real serious.
It was a joke.
So, guys, we got real heavy, thick in the weeds on cinema this time. So, I didn't promise anything weird or crazy, but episode 99 turns out is a Movie Matters episode. We cover a variety of things, as anyone who has been here long enough knows: gaming, TV, and film. So, we're going to wrap up episode 99. Nerdentials Podcast episode 99. Said it at the beginning. I'm going to say it at the end. Woo, we're so close. Episode 100 is next. Matt just dipped out. I'm thinking he had a stroke. Oh, he's back. Hi, Matthew. You okay?
I was moving my laptop. Leave me alone.
He's like a weeble wobble. A weeble and wobble. They don't fall down.
He's not wobbling or weebling, so let's leave him alone. So, guys, here we go.
Getting another jab at my weight. You sons of
I got weight too. Stop being so damn sensitive.
It's a sensitive topic.
Agreed, but let's not make it public. Anyway. And there he goes dipping out again. All right. Guys,
I like to dip.
any comments regarding our reviews, questions or thoughts or inspirational redirects on what we've said here on these topics, leave them down below in the comments section for sure.
And any negative comments we'll put towards Matt's direction.
And negative is also accepted. Because Nick, the whole point of that is it's a comment. It's an opinion. So, a little bit of housekeeping as we close out. Anyone that's still sticking around, we did a little bit of it at the beginning, and everything you're curious about will be in the description box down below, links included. But if you enjoyed this episode and you're hearing it audio only on our podcast, guess what? There's a YouTube link where you can see our ugly mugs in action, including all the visual shenanigans of how we feel about things. Guys, all that's on youtube.com/c/Nerdentials. Hit that sub, ring that bell, and keep up to date with not only our podcast, but a sleuth of first takes, impressions, and walkthrough videos on gaming. And who knows, if you guys are into it enough, we may do some movie trailer reactions in the future when Hollywood decides to start putting films back in cinemas. I know
yes,
that was
walkthroughs, not walkthroughs.
That was a little dark, and thanks for the jab, Nick. I'm sure Brayhan will appreciate that. We'll tell him about it later. I have fixed it since. Okay, side note, this is probably an outtake. Not going to keep it in the outro. It's way too lengthy and too wordy. Anyway, back to reality. Guys, you can go to all our social medias, or if that's just too much to handle, you can go to nerdentialsmedia.com.
.com.
Matthew, do you remember that? That used to be a thing.
I remember that.
Oh, even Ryan remembers it, and he's new. I'm kidding.
I give up.
You didn't give up. You're back. That's not giving up. That's trying again.
Granted, it's very new for me, but I have heard it.
He's heard it. He's been around long enough to hear it at least once. All jokes aside, guys, Ryan, since you're one of the more newer faces and probably going to be a staple for us now, we haven't plugged it enough yet. So what are you doing outside of this podcast right now?
Well, I have recently hit Twitch affiliate at the end of November, thanks to a lovely Discord I have found through some amazing streamers I have met while networking. It is called Fusion Gaming, and you can find them at Kuhn Cannon on Twitch. It's KUHNCANNON. And they are an amazing group of people that will help you reach basically the greatest heights you can in Twitch. And they helped me get it within a month. I've seen someone else do it in 3 days, someone do it in 7. It's crazy, but we're all on the path up, and we all help each other, work together, and stream together. And I've just been streaming video games, and this week I'm streaming Minecraft. Java edition.
Oh, snap. I've heard there's a resurgence in Minecraft.
You would be correct. And we actually have our own server coming soon.
Nice. Very nice.
Is it cross-platform between a computer and...
Not with Java. Only Bedrock.
It's the Bedrock. Okay.
Yeah, it's classic. Everything current and new with that is all platforms, but they're going old school.
Yeah.
That's all
If you were on Bedrock, I'd join you, bud.
We have a crazy new mod we're working on. So
very nice. As far as final closing housekeeping here, Nick, Matt, and myself are still really we're the 3 oldest hosts of this channel now, and we're going to push into 2021 with a lot of gusto, steam, and excitement. We do have a rotating 5th chair. Matthew, I want you to be aware you're not allowed to dip out unless it's absolutely necessary, because otherwise I'd have to say there's a 4th rotating chair. But we all know there's now 4 permanent hosts. That's the 4 of us right now, in case Nice. You
Oh, I was thinking that I was getting replaced. Okay.
No,
no.
you're not replaced by Spider yet.
No.
We've adopted Ryan.
ASMR stream.
We're adopting Ryan and including a fifth chair.
Awesome.
The fifth chair is either a fifth person, or if you're not here, it's going to be the fourth person.
Gotcha. ASMR stream is going well. We're all working together.
We've got a lot of hits. Guys, our social media is, as always, usual. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Not all of us are active on it. I'm going to be honest. It's true. 2020 has been a bit strife.
Joe likes to get twittered.
However, anyone that wants to Twitter us, Facebook us, or Insta anything with us, all those links can be found in the descriptions below or on our website, nerdentialsmedia.com. As I said before. No, I know. You're all... Anyway. Guys, thanks for watching. The classic outro is about to ensue. Ryan, you remember what to do, hopefully. And if you don't, that's fine. Paul's the only one that made it weird, and he was, honestly, in my opinion, following a suit for Jeff Barry. It was quite classic and silly.
Yeah, I don't remember at all.
That's fine. It's only...
As soon as we start it, he'll jump right in. He'll know what we're doing.
It's only 2 weeks to go. Other side is all you got to worry about. So here we go. Timing allowed. Matthew, Nick, and Ryan. Oh, hold on. I got to say it right. And for me, myself, Nick, Ryan, and Matt. God, I'm sorry about you guys. I always forget. This has been your Nerdy Essentials. And as always, my nerds will see you on the other side.
Other side.
From the back side.
Matthew.
From
Who's
the
next?
outside.
I'm trying to end the recording now. That was too much. My wife just walked in and everything.